Uh, it sounds counterintuitive, probably, but I think somewhere down the line, the key thing is to give up. The key thing is to let go of whatever idea or whatever illusion we are probably holding on to. So when we do that, when we have a clean, clear analysis of how things should be or how things are supposed to be, I think we better come to terms with things, and I think that's a good sense of freedom. Probably that's a good sense of uh, a good clarity we get around it. So starting from now, at this very moment, just make it a point that nothing matters to you. Everything is irrelevant. Everything is, uh, you know, everything is because everything is futile, to say the least. And I think we always try to come up with very lofty ideas about how things are supposed to be, how things should be. We talk about innovation, which is good. I mean, I'm not denying the goodness or the richness of innovation. I'm not denying the goodness or the richness of expression, of thought. You know, I'm not denying all of that because that is important, that is crucial, that makes a difference, that makes lives better. But all I'm saying is that it is conditional, right? So we need to understand that first and foremost. I mean, a lot of the good people in the world, the reason they suffer is because they do not acknowledge this. Uh, you know, they fail to acknowledge this conditionality of good things in life, of the richness of life, of the extravagance of life, of the beauty of life. Because it is limited, it is conditional. So once we acknowledge that, once we embrace that with all our heart, with all our soul, we realize that we cannot do anything about it, right? We cannot do anything about it. It is difficult. It is problematic. So that realization makes a significant difference in how we deal with things, in how we embrace things, in how we, uh, you know, how we like look at things, how we perceive things, and so on, and so on. So that realization is important, in my opinion. That is the beauty of life. That's the happiness of life, and we need to understand that. I think just let it go. You don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need that job. I mean, you can want that job. You can get that job. You can seek that job, but you don't need that job. You don't need that partner. You don't need that friend. But you can go for that. You can seek for that. You know, there's nothing wrong in finding pleasure in things or comforting yourself. There's nothing wrong in that. But what I'm saying is that at least have like I mean I really appreciate one thing that I remember. Khushwant Singh said this one particular thing. He said that you know like he did not believe in the life of like like I forgot the word, renunciation. He did not believe in the life of renunciation. I mean, although renunciation is thought of as a virtue, because I kind of agree with that, but I would like to add to it a little bit more. What I would say is that, of course, if you look at the great philosophies, both in the Western and the Eastern schools of thought, what we find is that there's a lot of talk about renunciation, about a good person is someone who sacrifices, which is good, which is important. But here's the thing, here's the thing that, uh, but if you are, but you have to not be caught up in the act of sacrificing itself. Like, for example, the hero complex, right? We talk about the hero complex where a person believes, or a person makes it sort of an ideal for himself that he has to, there is this particular benchmark that he has to reach in terms of being that hero person, being that person who sacrifices, the person who takes the biggest, who takes the hit for others, you know. So that's the whole point here. That you cannot. So we are conditional. That's what I'm trying to point towards. Is that everything is conditional. Goodness is conditional. The niceness is conditional. So when we understand that, when we understand the conditionality of things, when we understand that, uh, you know, that things may not necessarily turn out the way that we want them to, when we embrace this whole scenario, um, at least what happens is that we are left with some form of, not entirely, not absolutely, but some form of, I would say, some form of um, uh, how do I put it, like some form of naturality, should I say that, or like we can be in the moment, right? When we let go of these uh, you know these conditions. I mean we cannot let go of conditions. Conditions are there, but like what I'm trying to say is that we accept those conditions, right? We're not in denial of it. We're not trying to like create walls around it or across it or whatever, and we just let it be. This is it. This is it. This is how it's going to be. This is how things are going to turn out. So that, if there is a sort of a like a, okay, take it easy. If the attitude that we possess around the things that are there, we will, we can at least be with the moment. It creates a good practice, I would say, so that we're not overwhelmed. You know, I mean, the mind and the body is pretty similar to any engine, maybe. You know, just like everything requires to be in a certain temperature. Everything. If you look at, I mean, again, it might be a bit of a generalization of sorts, but that is, in a way, it's true that you cannot, if you do not, let's say your muscles or your mind or your other skills, your talents, or let's say even for mechanical things, you know I mean, of course, biology is pretty complex, and it's not as straightforward, or it's not as easy or clear cut as, let's say, um, uh, how do I put it? Like, let's say, it's not as straightforward as mechanical stuff, but at least there's certain biological elements that I would say. Um, so yeah, I mean, the whole point is that just understand the flow, be with the flow, respect the flow, and respect the process, because I believe that you know I believe that uh, it is complicated. It is not straightforward, but yeah, you just embrace that. You just embrace the flow.